Okay, so this is a video about the methods I use to make Loras. So here is my initial data set. I'm doing pipes. Let's flick through it here. Pipes, all sorts of pipes. And these are photographs. Now I want an illustration Lora, and as soon as I put a photographic Lora in, the image has a tendency to go to photographs or a horrible mixture between the two. So I need to use these. I need to use these training images to make a Lora, so I can make images to make my illustration Lora. I hope that makes sense. Well, it makes the sort of sense. You'll see the sort of sense it makes as we proceed. So I'm going to go very quickly how I do the training. I do it the same way every time, really. I use Flux Loaded Viv, Pinocchio. You can use any trainer. They're all becoming very standardized now. So you drop in your data set. There they all are, all your images. Give it a name. I've done this on some other videos, but I thought I would put this stage in, then it makes it helps people make sense of it all. So put my microphone in the right place. So it needs an individual name. At first, I was so bad at this, and I couldn't remember the name of the damn thing or anything. So we'll call it something to do with plumbing. Plumbnights _ V1. So this Lora probably won't be used. I don't often do photographic key things. So, and I usually do around 4,000 to 5,000 steps. So 400, maybe we do 12, 5. Yeah, that'll be fine. Between 4 and 5 is fine. And this Lora doesn't have to be particularly fantastic. So data set images, they can stay at 512. So some of the images are not of the finest quality anyway. So that shouldn't matter. I put a nonsense word in case you need a trigger. Triggers don't really work in Flux, but I put one in anyway, which is very boring, but very quick to do. Okay, so that's all those in. You mustn't miss one out, otherwise it'll complain. It doesn't complain, actually. It just aborts the run, and you think, why's that gone wrong? Now, advanced options. I don't think seed makes any difference. I put one in anyway. I use 5e4 for this number of steps, which seems to produce a quite nice balanced Lora. I don't go mad on the rank. I do 12, which will be about 100 megabytes or something, and that's it. So I will train again later, but I'm not going to make a section showing it, because the only difference is on the next train, when I've made my new training images, this will be at 1024, which will make the training take much longer, maybe 4 or 5 times longer, 4 times longer, but it'll capture more detail and make a better Lora. But at this stage, 512 is absolutely fine. Okay, so we start training. And if it's going to go wrong, it'll go wrong in the first few seconds. This looks fine. So we'll move on, and the next thing, we'll have this Lora trained, and we'll see if it's any good. Right, so here's our Lora is back. I have quickly made a plumbing prompt. So what we do, we test it first with something that's in its comfort zone. All right, get this going in the right place. That goes in that. So what we'll do, we'll run the prompt without the Lora. I'm assuming you know how to load Loras and all the rest of it. I'm assuming you know your way around ComfyUi. So this is without Lora. I'll just bring it up big, and you never know. it might not do anything at all. One thing you do have to notice is that Flux will make a good image anyway, and your Lora won't always be an improvement. But what we're looking for is not so much an image improvement, but more pipes and plumbing. So here's our Lora. I'm putting it in fairly high, and we'll bring it up big, and we'll see what happens. Well, there we go. That's gone quite pipey, hasn't it? Okay, so I think we can say the Lora worked. What I would next do is try it at different levels. So I try it at, we'll do it now actually. So it's 0.25. What I could do is put in that's a good idea. We'll put in the without a Lora image underneath, and then we can see how it changes. Put them side by side. Okay, so this is quite low. This is 0.25. You might not see any difference at 0.25. We'll see. There we go. So that's nice. So look, you can see here, the robot has gained some, not really plumbing elements yet, but the stuff on the wall has become more complex. So let's do 4.5, and hopefully we should see it become a bit more plummy. What I like is a Lora that is quite progressive, because they're the most useful ones, and then they're nice and controllable. You can run them in from 0.25 up to 0.75, and you get all different effects. There we go. 0.45. We have gone more plummy, more pipes, and we saw 0.75. Let's have something mad. 9.5. I dare say the robot will get plumbed in at 9.5. The pipes will take over. And there we are. That is very plummy. You see the plumbing is spreading everywhere now. But we've still got a robot, which I'm delighted with. What does tend to happen is that a Lora will be too strong. They can easily overtrain, and in which case it'll completely plumb the robot. But the robot is still staying distinctive. I bet if I go right up, you have to go mad. If I go to 1.15, I don't think we'll have a robot here. As you go up to high levels, the quality falls away usually as well. On many Loras, the quality of the image will start falling away. It doesn't here, so I'm tolerably pleased. It's usually only when you've got grainy old training images that happens. Oh, we still got a robot, and the plumbing is even more. Okay, I think that bit's done. So our next move is to make training images using this Lora to train our final Lora, because we can only really do this style, this sort of basic plain vanilla Flux style. So I want to make a plumbing Lora, but in the illustration style I want to use. So that means we need to make probably 80 to 100 images, probably more, that are using this style and are very plummy, and we will use those to train the final Lora at a higher resolution at 1024. And that will be a Lora that, if we cherry pick nice images, that will be a Lora that generally improves the generation as well. And that's the sort of Lora I like. Okay, so we'll stop here with this, and next section will be making the training images for the final Lora. Okay, so here we are in, I call it my randomizer. It's very simple, really. I'll go through the modules. So the aim is to reduce the pain of making lots of variations. So what I've got here is I've made a batch with 9. I did start using directories and having 40 or 50, but really just 9 is fine. And what this does here is randomly choose one. So it completely randomly chooses an image. There's only 9, it'll duplicate it sometimes, so it doesn't really matter. And I do the same thing with the prompt. We got randomized prompt. So this one isn't random because I want the medium to be fixed. And I've made a whole lot of, not very many, but only a few. You can make more, make as many as you want, really. Descriptions. And each one has a carriage return. So you see this, I've gone return, and then a new sentence starts. So the A's mark the lines. And this text random line will pick out just a random line from that. It always picks out the same one, though, so it's not going to need choice. And so we've got the mood of the image here. These are fairly random. I've probably got too many there, but it's fine. Just so we get changes in light and so on. And these are different interiors from a hotel right the way through, and it'll randomly pick between them, provided I haven't got a space in the wrong place, but I don't think I have. So you can make these lists and just load them into a multi-line text. What you see here is this is what it is. It's an atomic bomb on a stand. Which it made this, which didn't exactly ace it, did it? But anyway, so the Lora is here. The style I want it in is that Lora there. So we've got a watercolor style, and this is my pipe Lora. So the watercolor Lora is strong enough to give a unity of style to the whole lot and take away the very last residue of photographiness. I'll just run one, and so yeah, random noise is random. We've got a lot of random in here. And I'll turn this off for now. Yeah, I got the refine on automatically, and I'll explain why that is. So if I click this, all the randomizing happens. We get a random image, random prompt, and a random seed. There you go. Look at that. I quite like that one. No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be. Oh, never mind. I'll save that one off separately, I think, because it's quite a good one, that one. Okay, so you can click multiple times. If you click 10 times, it'll do 10 images. You click 20 times, it'll do 20 images. So it won't take a great deal of time to do 100. I actually, you can just mass produce them and then pick the ones you like, or you can save off the ones you think are worth saving off. Depending on how I am for time, I might do it either way, really. Doesn't really matter. So if I do another one, big, click. So it'll be another random seed, another random prompt, and another random image to image. There we go. And that's just what I want, really. That's a very nice. What I want is, surreal plumbing in the wrong place. So this is a nice bit of plumbing in your living room, and that's the whole point of doing it. So when I train the Lora, it won't be making ordinary plumbing. It'll make interesting and exciting images. I'm doing it this size, by the way, and upscaling because I will crop a composition out of this. I won't use this as the training image. Though this is good enough to do that. So that will have been upscaled over here. So I'll check the upscale, see what I think of it. And that's very nice. It's got enough illustration-y in it that when I use the Lora, if I apply another style Lora to it, this style will be very mutable. I'll be able to make it an oil painting or a watercolor or even a drawing relatively easily. I just open them up and save them one by one. So you see I'm getting a little list of them there. It really doesn't take long to get 50 good ones this way. So I'll zoom out a bit so you can see everything change. You can't see everything change because the little boxes will go... no, we'll try that. So you'll see an image change here and the prompt change. So if I run, we get a random image there. Whoop, a random prompt. Yeah, so you can read it. Oh, cyclotron. Aren't we lucky? And you see it's put it in a steampunk factory. So it's putting it in a different place each time as well. There we are. Now that's probably an example of one I'm probably not going to save that one. It's got sort of funny misty stuff. So, well, I'll abandon that one. I'll let it run through though. You can just exit it, and you can obviously set it to save automatically as well if you want. But didn't like that one. So what I normally do when that happens, well, maybe it'll happen again. I abort it and then run it again. I'd have thought the cyclotron would be more exciting, I have to say. That's nice. That's exactly what I want, really. So it's got a nice mood, and there's lots of piping, and but it's quite a nice picture as well. So that is one I would definitely want. So what I'm going for here is I want the piping, etc., but I don't want it to overwhelm. I want the piping to be in a nice context as well. There will be some extremely pipey ones, but I need ones like this where the piping isn't completely manic. So then hopefully the Lora will be flexible, and it can do wild over-the-top plumbing, and it can do nice atmospheric plumbing like that. So I've only been doing this a few minutes. And I've got, that's the 8th one, is it? Yeah. So you can see it won't take me long to get to 50. See if we can get another duff one. There we go. Oh, look at that. That's great. Really just what I'm looking for. Now, I have put various colour words in the prompts. I have put, some of the prompts are, there's another cyclotron. Towering red server racks, you see. He's ignored that and just done plumbing instead. But because I've not got that many to choose from, you quite often get a repeat. But it's not really a problem because you've got all the other randomization going on as well, which is why that's there. So that's another really nice image. That'll make a great training image, that is. So that's number 10. And that's it. I don't think I'll say more about it. You can, if you're wanting something really specific, I'll just show you briefly. You can increase the, say you wanted some more complicated ones. You've got Redux in here. So we go to temp. I can't see there's a really... Oh, this was a really funky one. Look at that. So I can put that in as Redux at... I'm doing it 24. That might be too high, but never mind. But now, every image will have a bit of that in it. So we can expect a greater density of plumbing. And it'll be yellow and brown as well, I would think. So you can control the... if I wanted some more red ones, I bung this red one in there. The aim is to get a set of really good quality images. And really, for making Loras, the quality of the training images is everything. We've got people. You can ask for people. Have I got little men in a factory there somewhere, maybe? Workers in overalls. Damn. Slipped in there. So you gotta let's find that. Workers in overalls. What are they doing? I just swiped all these and fashionable guests with luggage. We don't want that either. That'd be more people. I haven't curated my prompts properly. So I don't want anything with people in it, basically. Dark, distorted. Oh, yeah, we can't have that either. If you did want people, of course, you'd make sure there were people. But tiny workers in overalls, there they are, little devils. Don't think we have any more. Let's take that down to size again. So is that any good, despite the tearing? I think that's still okay, because it makes a really nice image, doesn't it? Yeah. So because these are quite large, I can just have that bit there. So that's a good one. And the reason I do them this size... you'll see later on in the next stage, but just for now, the reason is that I want to be able to crop a 1024 out of it, and making them this size, etc., gives me leeway to make a nicer composition. Because it's a mistake to train Loras with symmetrical images, subject dead in the centre, i.e. everything that Flux will do anyway, and you're fighting against, So if you were doing people, you wouldn't want too many bum chins or all the other things that Flux does. And that's another really, really nice one. And I shall do more than 50. I shall do 70, and I'll pick the top ones. But that's a very, very nice image. Wait for it to go through. I don't actually find this boring. I can watch them coming through, and it's great fun. If I get one I really, really like, I copy the prompt, and then that goes into my prompt store for good prompts. There we go. So I think that's it for this section. I can't say any more, really. I think I've covered everything. This workflow will be in there. A few bits about loading these. The images must have some connection. They shouldn't be random. They should be a bit on theme. So these are ones, I'll just have a closer look at some. These ones are all of derelict spaces. And they've all got a bit of a mood to them, if you see. So those images need to have something that connects them all. It could be a colour range. It could be, if I was doing, making fancy robots, I'd have a robot somewhere in each one of them. And so that, it was expecting. So the Lora was expecting to have a figure in. But this one is being used for backgrounds and for detailing. So it won't have that. And, of course, you can change these lists. You can make more of these to have, or less of them. Make it simpler, just have the subject and maybe one mood or one place the subject is. So you can make it more complicated, less complicated, as you want. So what we'll do is we'll come back when the final Lora is trained and see if it's rubbish or not. Right, so here we are. It's back and it's cooked. It's early morning. It cooked overnight. So I'm not sure my early morning can make videos, but my early morning self can make videos, but we'll have a go. This one's a very short and easy one anyway. So I'll show you the training images first, the results, after I've cropped them. So I've cropped them down, and I cropped them down to what I feel is a good composition. You may disagree, but I feel is a decent composition, and that's why I do a stretched version. When it does, it squashes the thing to make it to train on it, which sounds terrible, but the model really doesn't care if it's squashed down. So these are a few of the training images. So to produce these training images, there were like 4 Loras going, a complicated prompt. So hopefully our new Lora will do this sort of thing with only a quick hint, and it can be used. It'll be able to be used to apply a bit of pipiness to any image. Okay, so we've seen those. So we are loaded into Flux, so there's our model loaded, nothing else loaded. And I'll bring this up. That's what Flux does without the Lora, which is nice enough. How to say it isn't... The prompt is about a big machine powering a... We'll go over here to the prompt. So we are watercolour illustration, which that really isn't, and a huge cyclotron, so the subject is a big thing and it's powering a big... it's a basic sci-fi prompt. So here, the lighting is prompted, it won't matter though. So what we'll do, we'll go up to 0.25. This will look horrible just to embarrass me, I expect. So we need for a Lora, we need it to work at 0.25. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's see what we get. It must work at 0.25 because I use Loras like sort of basic like cooking. They're ingredients, a pinch of this and a pinch of that. If they only do stuff at 0.75 or 1, then they're not much use to me, really. So look at that change. That is a huge change for 0.25. But it's kept the same basic composition, etc. That's pretty good. And it's very plummy. And it's gone more watercolory. So we got a couple of wins there at a low strength. So that means it's going to be very useful to mix in. So we'll put it up to 3.5. And this is how I test them. I just test them every 10. So I go 0, 10, etc. But for this, we'll do a larger chunk. Right. That's pretty nice. I quite like that. Quite over the top. And it's got a separate machine of the gateway, which is much nearer the prompt than... and we got... that's pretty good. I quite like that. Quite a big change. We'll go to 5.5, see what that does. I would rarely use a Lora above 0.55, because it leaves no room for other Loras. Because if your Loras add up to 2, for example... that's probably too much, and you won't. You'll start getting problems with image quality. So that's 5.5. It didn't change that much. Just go 7.5. The 7.5 is about as high as I'd ever go, and that's nice. Very clean. We've got a nice illustrated style there. Very nice. Okay, let's change the subject a wee bit. Make it very silly, shall we? Huge grey and blue. Or go blue bathroom. Can't get sillier than that. Okay, that's all good. Let's see what take it down to nothing. See what Flux makes. Silly prompt. See what Flux makes of that without any help. And when I'm doing this, I tend to flick through seeds. If you've got a good generation just with Flux, it's going to improve things quite a lot. Well, that is not very bathroomy, is it, really? Quite good, though. Big cyclotron. Let's see if it's put a little person in it. Isn't that sweet? We perhaps need to describe the bathroom a little more. Oh, that's a bit bathroomy. And it's done a bit of an illustration for us. Okay. Flux will do this. It'll flip between styles, and in some ways, the instability of Flux is what I like about it, because you can use Loras to tame that instability. So we'll bung the Lora in at 0.25, see if we have an effect there. But it's looking good so far. Look at that. That got better, didn't it? Okay, so that's pretty good. It's not that bathroomy. We need a few more. My description of the bathroom was a little bit cursory. Perhaps so it's got a cast iron bath, a sink. We won't bother mentioning the loo, it'll probably put it in anyway. So it's got white tiled walls and red tiled floor. That'll probably make it a little bit more bathroomy. There you go, that's more fun. We'd all like to have a bath in there. Let's have a quick look at what it would have done without it. I always like to see what Flux will do with it without a Lora. You know, it's important to know that really, and it should come out still an illustration because that seed was giving an illustration, so it should still be an illustration. There we go. It's quite nice. Let's have another seed. Flux will just carry on giving me illustrations now, just to confuse me. But usually it flips between various styles. That's quite nice. I like that. Okay, let's see what our Lora makes of that. Our Lora's not very good at doing the electrical sparks. I do have electrical sparks Lora somewhere, so I'd probably have to put that in. There we go. Look at that. I have a bath in there. So that's only 0.25. That's pretty effective, and it's put pipes all up the wall over the ceiling. We've still got our sink and a bath. I did tell you it would put a loo in. And it's very much a bathroom. We've got our white tiles. The other thing we don't have is our electric sparks. I don't think this Lora will make electric sparks, actually, because there's nothing in the training data to hint at electrical sparks. I would think it would overwhelm the bathroom as it goes up in strength. Oh no, we just got more pipey, and that's very nice. We got really nice tiling. Look at all this stuff. So we'll just do one at high strength. I'm not going to go through them all. It pretty much works the way I hoped. For this, I think we'll lose a bathroom. We'll just get a maze of pipes, I expect. Oh no, we kept the bathroom. We lost the loo though. Got a sink. Oh, we got everything here. Got everything there. That's good. So that's great. I'm happy with that. And we're keeping the style. We got. You may not have noticed, but we've got this nice watercoloured, consistent style. And we try another seed, perhaps, on that, just for fun. And then we'll look at what it does outside of its comfort zone. And I also want to know, will it mix with other Loras? Which is a very important aspect of any Lora. Hey, we've got electric sparks as well. No sink. Gain electric sparks. Well, it's just a sink bath, isn't it? Yeah. So I can see it's thinking behind that. But we got everything we asked for still. So if a Lora just produces an image that has no relation to the prompt, which very overtrained Loras will do, then it's not a very good Lora. So what we want to do is to mix it with some other Loras and see how it does that, and take a subject that's a little bit outside of its comfort zone. So I'll add a general purpose Lora that I use quite a lot. We'll leave it on this seed. And this is a general purpose Lora for composition and stuff like that. So, and I quite often have this, it's just called feedback, so you can get it off Hugging Face, which I'll put a link behind. But it's a general purpose Lora, so it's not ever meant to be, much stronger than about 3.5 or whatever. But there we go. As you see, it's improved the composition. We've still got sparks. We've still got our style. But you see the general purpose Lora, what it's done. It's done, it's put nice feet on there. It's just refined and it's got a much more interesting composition and lighting. So the lighting is better. And that's what a general purpose Lora does. I'm actually not quite sure how you train a general purpose Lora. I've trained several. And each time I don't know quite what factors have made it. But what they do, I've got several other people's. Andreak on ComfyUi makes some great ones. They're Loras that mix with other Loras. It hasn't taken away the qualities of the Lora I trained, but it's just made everything a little bit classier. And I've tried to deliberately make them, but I have failed. There you go. So anyway, that's all fine. And I'll put a Lora in now that is another feedbacks, which is to do with sleek, streamlined stuff. And see that has an effect. And what I'm looking for is to retain the general feel and style with this Lora and just alter the different qualities of it. There we go. Not a very appropriate Lora, as this is streamlined cars and stuff. But you see, it has simplified it. and everything's a bit smoother. But it's worked fine, so that I'm happy with that because it's done what I wanted. Let's put something in very silly. This is a Lora for old machinery. We'll put it in at 55. We'll make them equal, even Stevens. And what I want to see is each time the new Lora having an effect, but keeping some of the effect of my new Lora. And that's good as well. Everything has stayed good. This has all become a bit more industrial, which considering the Lora I put in is full of industrial machinery. So this has all become a little bit, it's about the Lora's about bolts, a lot of it. So it's put bolts and everything, which is quite fun. What else can we do? We'll put an object Lora in. This is another style Lora. This is a Lora that was used to make a Lora, so it's full of shiny surfaces. So I don't think this one will mix well. We'll see. That was quite nice. Didn't have much of an effect. It's very much out of the other Lora's comfort zone. So what I could do now is put the prompt into that Lora's comfort zone. So if we make a huge grey and blue Art Deco, I might put that before the bathroom. So I've added stuff that this Lora here will like, and we'll up its strength to 55 or maybe 60. There you go. That was quite nice. And you see, everything's become a little bit more elegant. So if we really pump up the Art Deco, and we'll drop our pipes to 35. So the Deco will be dominant there. Now, what I want to demonstrate here is that the Lora is nice and flexible, so we can use it in all different circumstances. There we go. We have an Art Deco bathroom, and we still have pipes and plumbing. Look at that. What's not to like? And we've got our sink back. Look at that. And everything looks good. Everything's rational. Good. Well, very rational. Okay, so that's it for that. I should quickly mention that the training I ran in is exactly the same as the training I did, but we did 1024. It's just a reminder that we did 1024 rather than 512, so it took 6 hours to train overnight. We'll do one more very quick thing. We'll upscale and refine to aim on a final pretty image. And this is actually another thing I do check is some Loras don't like to upscale and refine. You know, they revert to the smooth Flux style, which is annoying, but I don't know why that is, but some of them do. There we are. That's done it nicely. It's kept a bit of the watercolour style. You often lose a lot of that, but we've got a nice illustrated image with lots of fancy bits, etc. Okay, so that's all for that. I hope that was useful and interesting. Thank you for watching.